Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are diving deep into a huge shift happening in B2B. How we move from these siloed, guesswork-driven teams to a truly integrated, smart, and aligned revenue machine. And, you guessed it, AI is at the heart of all of it. So let's jump right in. This quote from Gartner's David Yuckelson just hits the nail on the head. We've been talking about this for decades, right? The need to align sales and marketing. But the reality is that friction between marketing, sales, and customer success is still a massive problem. It's costing companies deals, it's losing them customers, and it's killing growth. This isn't some nice to have anymore. It's a desperate need. So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll reframe this whole alignment problem as a relay race. Then, we're going to tackle the superheated debate about where SDRs belong. After that, we'll get real about using AI as a co-pilot, not a magic wand, and talk about finding real signals instead of vague intent data. We'll wrap it all up with some amazing lessons on scaling and what the future of go-to-market really looks like. Okay, first up, the alignment relay race. That old-school approach of marketing just chucking leads over the wall to sales, who then throws customers over to success, is just completely broken. It doesn't work. In today's world, the customer journey is a team sport, plain and simple. I want you to picture your entire go-to-market motion as a relay race. Each team, marketing, SDRs, sales, success, is a runner, passing the baton. Now, what's the key to winning a relay race? It's not just about how fast each person runs, it's about the handoff. For that split second, two runners have their hands on the baton. It's a shared responsibility. That's what we need. A clumsy handoff in our world means dropping the customer experience, and you just can't afford that. So how do you actually force that seamless handoff? Well, this right here is the secret sauce from Sterling Snow. You create shared dependency. Imagine marketing isn't just measured on leads, but on closed-won business. All of a sudden, they are deeply invested in what happens in the sales cycle. They start asking sales, hey, what do you need from us to actually close these deals? And just like that, you break down the silos and force everyone to work together. This need for alignment leads us directly to one of the most debated, most controversial roles in the entire go-to-market world today, the sales development rep, or SDR. As companies rethink how they're structured, the biggest question on everyone's mind is, where does this team even belong? Seriously, this is the question sparking massive debates in boardrooms all over the place. Does the team that generates meetings belong with marketing, the folks who create the initial demand, or should they be with sales, since they're the ones who will ultimately own the deal? And you can see why it's such a debate, right? Both arguments make a ton of sense. On the one hand, the marketing-led camp sees SDRs as a critical part of demand gen. They want one leader to own that entire journey from the very first touch point all the way to a qualified opportunity. But then the sales-led camp says, hold on, the SDR role is our farm team. It's the training ground for our future superstar AEs. They argue that SDRs need to be immersed in the sales culture from day one. There's no single right answer, but we are seeing a trend towards marketing taking on more of that early pipeline ownership. And of course, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. Is AI just going to get rid of this role entirely? Well, the consensus is a pretty firm no, but it is absolutely going to transform it. Think about this. Studies show that most salespeople spend less than a third of their time actually selling. The other 70%, it's admin stuff, right? Updating the CRM, doing research, all the grunt work. AI is perfectly built to automate that stuff, which frees up SDRs to do what we actually need them to do. Have smart, human, empathetic conversation. And this idea of transformation isn't just about the SDR role, it's about everything. But to really use AI the right way, we have to get past all the hype that paints it as this magical idea creator. We need to see it for what it is today, an incredibly powerful co-pilot. We're all on this journey with AI, and it's so important to know what phase we're actually in. And right now, we are squarely in phase 1, trust building. The technology still makes stuff up. It hallucinates. Even Salesforce admitted their AI gets it wrong about 35% of the time. So having a human in the loop is not optional, it's essential. The next phase will be trust but verify, where AI makes suggestions and we give the final thumbs up or down. But that future of true autonomy, where we just tell AI a goal and it goes and does it, we're still a ways off from that. This quote from John Miller at Demandbase, this is maybe the single most important mental model for using AI in your go-to-market right now. The big idea is to stop asking AI to create something from a blank page and instead ask it to transform something that a human has already created. Here's exactly what that looks like in practice. If you ask AI, write me a blog post about ABM,
what you get is going to be generic, bland, and honestly pretty useless. But if you give it a brilliant article written by a human expert and say, summarize this or turn this amazing case study into a LinkedIn post, that is where the magic happens. AI is phenomenal at repurposing, personalizing, and repackaging content that already has human thought and creativity baked into it.
So, if AI is our co-pilot helping us personalize everything, what should we be acting on? For years, the buzzword was intent data, but let's be honest, it's often a total black box. The real shift happening now is moving toward concrete, actionable signals that tell you why you should reach out and why now is the perfect time. These are the kind of triggers you can build your entire go-to-market motion around. A champion, someone who loved and used your product at their last company, just started a new job, that is literally the best lead you will ever get. A target account posts a job rec for a Salesforce admin? Well, that's a pretty clear sign they have a need you can help with. These signals are specific, they're timely, and they give you a real powerful reason to connect. Okay, so having the right strategy and the right signals is one thing, but how do you actually build that into a machine that can scale? Let's dig into some lessons from the trenches of hyper-growth companies on how they position themselves to go from 10 million to over 100 million in revenue. Oh, this one is a classic mistake. The mandate comes down from the executive team. We need to talk about increasing revenue on the homepage. But hold on, who are you actually selling to? It's probably not the CEO. It's a director or a senior manager who is worried about their specific job, their specific pains. They're not going to bed at night worrying about the company's top-line revenue. Your positioning has to speak directly to them. So what actually works for scaling? Here's a tactical playbook based on the incredible growth of Frame.io. First, they use their own data to get crystal clear on their ideal customer profile. Second, they went vertical. They created specialized pods for key industries so their reps could speak the customer's language. Third, they used a product-led growth motion, letting people try the product first. And finally, and this is a big one, they invested in revenue operations early. They built a solid data foundation before things got chaotic. Okay, this brings us to our final and maybe the most important piece of this whole puzzle. As AI makes it easier and cheaper for everyone to send personalized outreach at scale, we're entering an era that some are calling the Great Ignore. So how do you possibly break through all that noise? Well, the answer is a bit of a paradox. You have to become more human. Just think about it for a second. When every single company can use AI to insert a person's name, their company, and their job title into an email, that level of personalization just becomes the baseline. It's not a differentiator anymore. So what's left? The only thing that can truly set you apart is genuine trust and empathy, the things that only a human can build. This quote just nails it. It perfectly captures this new reality. Technology is a tool. It's there to augment and scale human connection, not replace it. You have to earn an audience's trust first by giving them real value, by showing them you get their world. Once you've built that foundation of trust, then AI can help you fill in the gaps and scale that relationship. But it can't create that initial spark for you. And that leads us to our final thought for today. As more and more of our go-to-market motion becomes automated, this sort of autopilot engine driven by data and signals and AI, what's left for us humans? What are the skills that can't be replaced? Well, it's things like strategy, creativity, empathy, and the unique ability to build genuine, lasting relationships. That's the future, and that's what we all need to be building toward. Thanks so much for tuning in.